In a world where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence, there is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is Curious Listener. Here she is, Chris.
Oh, man, that guy makes me laugh. Dan, your hair is fat. Your hair, which one? My hair, which one? Your hair, which one are you talking about? Anyway, your hair is probably very lovely, Dan. And the only one left, yeah. And I used to say to one guy, hey, you got hair problems. One has dandruff and the other has... And so anyway, it was funny. Welcome to Curious Times. It's Saturday, March 11th. Holy crapola. March 11th. I'm sure this day is supposed to mean something to me. March 11th. What birthday is it? 7th. I know this day is meaning something. Of course, it's an 11. Any day is a video playing all of a sudden when I went straight to my Facebook. Not supposed to do that. Oh, it's a memory. Oh! 2 years ago today, I whacked my head. Here, listen to this. Hang on.
And I can't even begin Lyme disease. Is it
I think the volume is not loud enough. I don't know if I'll be able to see, if you guys will be able to hear it here.
Bite out of Lyme disease. Awareness is the key. Let's take a bite out of Lyme disease. This challenge came to me. Thanks, Christina Nelson. So I guess there's a let's take the bite out of Lyme disease and kind of a challenge thing going on these days. And so Christina Nelson has challenged me. And I can't even begin to tell you how serious Lyme disease is. It almost cost me my life. Anyway, that's kind of a joke because today when I went out to get the lime that I needed, I slipped and fell in the parking lot and legs went up and slammed down and smacked my head and hurt my back and hurt my neck and rang my bell. So Lyme disease almost killed me, or Lyme disease awareness video almost killed me. Thanks, Christina. I'll thank you to never challenge me to anything ever again.
All right, there you go. So that's a memory, a lovely memory from today. That's right about the time my whole world was blowing up and exploding. And so, okay, looking at myself on this video too, like I totally look whacked, like my eyes are craziness. Anyway, okay, all I wanted to do was find out whose birthday it was or why this date mattered to me. Let's see. Je ne sais pas. I do not know. I do not know. So anyway, okay. Let's see. I see a shiny thing, and that's the end of it, right? So I will. Okay. Welcome to the show. It's Saturday night, March 11th. Tonight we have Yvette Howell here. It's been so long. It almost feels like it's been a year or something since Yvette Howell has been on, and I remember back around Halloween, she was busy with doing some things, Halloween-related, medium, spooky stuff. And then I know around Christmas time too, I think. And then it's been like craziness. So I feel like it's been a long road to Tipperary. No, a long time since. I'm so glad to have you back. I have fun whenever Yvette's around. And now I can catch up with Yvette because we're just totally not. I'm a Skype user and she's a Facebook user. So we're incompatible chatters. Incompatible chatters. So I had to have her on my show once a month so we could catch up. And anyway, what else is going to happen tomorrow? We have Ida Green, Dr. Ida Green. We're probably going to be a short show tomorrow, you guys, just because it's sometimes like we don't have a lot of callers or anything like that, and we run short on stuff to talk about. So probably going to expect a short show, and that'll just be the way that goes. Monday off. Tuesday, Melissa Bruce. Yay! Last time Melissa Bruce actually came to work, we gave her like her Tuesday. She was here on her last Tuesday, which is like the second Tuesday of February, but it was the day before her and Corinne's birthday, and so we kind of didn't make her work. So the last time she worked on the show was January. So it'd be nice to have catch up with her. Wednesday, I don't know what's going to happen, if anything. Nothing scheduled. Thursday, Jen Young's. Friday, Salva. Hopefully she got her exploding modem under control. And a week from tonight, it's Kimber. I could go longer, and I've proven it before. So anyway, but it's all about Yvette tonight. She's a psychic medium, a tarot reader. And she also dabbles, although she's been studying astrology since she was 11. And she's got a very unique style of reading, and she sort of like takes a snapshot of the situation with you right now and reflects it back to you, which is so that you could kumbaya, my lord, you can see yourself as you truly are. Because, of course, most of us, except the narcissistic, conceited people out there, we don't really see ourselves the way that others see us. We usually see ourselves in the lesser than how other people see. And so that's Yvette's magic. She'll send it right back at you the way that. And I love this line. Her goal is to empower. Her hope is to reflect, and she works hard to remain detached from the outcome, which more readers could and should do. You can find out more about Yvette by visiting her website, I hope, at www.yvettehowell.intuitalks.com, and catch her up with her on Facebook. Just Google her, for crying out loud. And so, yay, I can hardly wait to...
Hello.
Hello.
Are you cutting out? Or is it just my...
Am I cutting out, guys? I gotta find out, because I can't hear myself. I'm cutting out? Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on 2 minutes. Hang on, well, not 2 minutes. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna restart my audio engine.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if that's going to help at all. Otherwise, it's choppy Skype for the night, and maybe I won't have to talk at all.
That's better, it seems to be. Oh.
Oh, hey, you missed my whole tooth pulling incident, didn't you?
Tooth pulling?
Yes, I pulled my own molar.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How did you do that?
Like I it came loose, and then and then I tried to, and then it would tighten up a bit, and I would hope that it would tighten up, and then it would come, and then I would be just minding my own, and my jaw is misaligned, you know what I mean, because of the TMJ and all this other kind of stuff, and so I would just be chewing, and then crunch it, and then it would and then it would a little bit more, and so over a period of time I would just wiggled it a little bit looser, a little bit looser, a little bit looser, then finally near the end in the back part of it I could feel the whole edge out, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, it's now or never, you know? And so I just went and I tied a piece of string around my tooth like that, with a knot, like a hangman's noose. And I was and then I just tried to yank it down. And and just about came, and then I think I had to get in there with my fingers, and I just went like that, and it didn't hardly bleed at all. And it, the second that I pulled the tooth, no more pain. My tooth didn't hurt anymore because it was not in me anymore.
Right.
And so the only thing is that on this bottom end, I don't think it all came out. You see, it's not exactly a straight, this is the side.
Right.
And so it's kind of a jagged little, and I know that I saw.
Jagged Little Pill? That's a song.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was thinking. I know that because you're psychic. And but so I felt a little piece, and so I got that. I just took a Q-tip, and stuck it up into the hole, and I twisted around like that, and it closed up real quick. You know how that happens? You get the hole closed right up, and it was all good to go. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it saved you $150.
Oh, 500.
Oh, wow. Well, last time I went and got a tooth pulled, it was $150. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
No, it's a lot more now, and it's a lot more here. I don't know if it's cheaper there. And the molars more, but then they're going to want to take the x-rays, and then they're going to have to stick needles in you, and all that crazy stuff. And so I'm all like, no, I'm just pulling the freaking pin myself, And it didn't hurt a single moment afterwards, and a single moment. Even the whole, when I've gone and had tooth extractions, I'm in pain for the next, several days, right?
Right. Well, the pain probably comes from the numbing. It's that needle they stick in your gums.
Oh, and then they stick pry instruments.
I know. I know.
Just on that, from now on, I'm just taking care of that myself.
Oh, my God. Well, Alan pulled all his teeth by himself. I mean, gradually, not all at once, but I have such a horrible dentist experience. When I was a kid, the roots wouldn't dissolve on my baby teeth, and so all of my permanent teeth came in behind my baby teeth. My baby teeth wouldn't get loose and fall out, so I actually had to go to the dentist and have all my teeth pulled, over a period of time, not all at once, but over a period of time. And so I got, terrified of the dentist. It was one thing after another, and I got terrified of the dentist. So I hate the dentist, but even poor Bella, she's had to pull her own teeth because I have such an aversion to teeth pulling.
It's so funny, you're a nurse. I mean, she doesn't mind.
No, I don't mind it at all. But no, I don't mind doing that at all.
And me, I can't even look at a needle. That's my whole thing. Dentist, you know what I mean? It's freaking needles, and so then I stay away, and then that had caused me to lose some teeth because of that, right? And so, but it's all because of the needle. It's all because of the stupid needle for me, and it's not even the pain. It's because I can go and bust my knee and then go slide into third, no big deal, run around, slide into. It's not pain that I'm afraid of. I'm good with pain. It's a little needle.
Yeah. Well, the last time I had a tooth pulled, which wasn't that long ago, in the last couple years, and the dentist that I went to, the way that he did his numbing medication, he didn't do it all the way in the gum, so the whole mouth went to sleep. He just did it right around the tooth, like right around the tooth. And it was perfect. It wasn't sore the next day, and it was badly abscessed, so by the time I got it out, it was such a relief to get it out that I was willing to take any kind of pain whatsoever.
Yeah. So anyway, now this dentistry moment brought to you by
No doubt everybody's gone now.
Like I looked down and I saw my tooth sitting in front of me there, and then it sure wasn't my intent to talk about my tooth. And I realized that hasn't been around for the whole tooth.
It's a great story, man. It's a great story, but you're a better woman than me, that's for sure.
So anyway, how's things? What's going on with you?
Pretty good. Things are good. Busy. Was sick. I had pneumonia for Christmas. That was my Christmas present to myself. And that was interesting because I didn't recover as fast as I thought I should. It was weird. It was, I probably wasn't feeling completely the best until close to the end of January. I got sick December 13th. I ended up in the emergency room and over Christmas Eve. I was in the emergency room, and then I didn't start feeling good till the end of January. So it was quite a ordeal. It was weird. It was it made me think, wow, okay, so I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not recovering the way that I used to, and I'm also getting something I've never got before, which was pneumonia. Which the doctor informed me that was normal as you get older, that you become more susceptible. Made me want to punch him.
I know, right? I know.
Whatever.
50 these days, or 51 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a lot younger than it used to be, really.
Certainly seems that way looking at it from this point of view.
But I really think it is. Like, I don't think I'm being I think we're way hipper cooler. We look younger probably because of all the food preservatives in what we eat. I don't know. Does anyone else agree, or is it just really just that because we're aging with ourselves, we don't notice how old we look, or what?
Even my mom, who's 72, 73, she says she doesn't feel that age. She said, I still feel like I did before in my head. Now, not to say that the body's not creaky and, there's obvious differences in strength and stuff like that. Just like being sick or getting sick easier. And those things are happening. But in her mind, she said it just hasn't changed how she feels.
I'm wondering, as I sit here at this precise moment in time, if somebody came along and changed time and how it goes, and maybe we really aren't 51. Maybe they sped up time, and so really only maybe a year is only a half a year, and maybe we're only 38.
Or maybe a year's 2 years, or we're only 25.
Well, I'm willing to say that for a certain period of my life, maybe up till about age 25 or something, I felt that those years were real years.
I hear you.
At least 16, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
And then something happened. I think somebody came along and they turned up the dial so that it goes faster now. It's really our physical body. How is it that when they go into space, did they have that experiment where they sent a twin dude up into space and they kept the other brother back down here, and they were going to do some testing to see the differences in aging? I think that the twin that was going out into space was going for a year or more or something like that. Does anyone remember that?
I don't remember that.
I'm going to Google it while you tell us another story or something.
I'm studying calligraphy.
Oh.
Something I had an interest in a long time ago when I was a kid. And I did a reading with a lady who does astrology charts. And in my solar return, she was telling me that I was going to make a study of something. And I thought, well, that's, life is a study to me anyway. But so I started. But anyway, so I was already interested in calligraphy, particularly Spencerian writing, which I find very beautiful. It's what all the documents that we have were written in. Because if you think about it, before there's computers, I know that's crazy, but think about, or printing, how they had to write official documents. They had a certain script that they wrote them in. And a long time ago, my favorite book is Little Women. I've loved that book since I was a kid. I've read it over and over and over again. And a long, long time ago, when I first started on my spiritual path, I channeled Louisa May Alcott. And she was talking. I literally wrote it out. It was like like writing, free writing. And my handwriting changed to this old-fashioned looking script. And I was asking her some specific questions about her book because I loved her book so much. But she was talking about the power that is in longhand writing. Something about the physical act of writing in longhand does something for you. I thought that was interesting, and so I've never forgotten that. I just channeled her that one. I don't channel her all the time. Well, I haven't ever tried to channel her again, but I got enough information.
Were they talking about getting rid of cursive writing in school or something?
Bella has not been taught cursive. She's in sixth grade.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
Unbelievable. So listen, here's the thing. I wasn't delusional. They took these twin brothers. One was called Scott Kelly, and his identical twin brother Mark stayed on Earth and went for a year, with other brother Scott went for a year. So here's just part of it. Interesting. So Kelly and cosmonaut Mikhail Kork, some Russian dude, flew the first ever year-long mission aboard the International Space Station, wrapping up the flight with a touchdown on the steppes of Kazakhstan last March. The goal of the project, which is ongoing, is in data analysis phase, is to gauge the physiological and psychological impacts of long-duration spaceflight to help prepare for crewed missions to Mars and other distant destinations. Part of this work involves Scott Kelly's identical twin brother Mark, a former NASA astronaut who flew on 4 space shuttle missions. Mark stayed on the ground during Scott's year-long flight, serving as an experimental control that would allow scientists to detect genetic changes that spaceflight induced in Scott. Multiple research teams are working to suss out those changes as part of the NASA twin study, and the early results, which scientists detailed last week at the NASA Human Research Program's annual Investigators Workshop in Galveston, Texas, have already highlighted some interesting developments. For example, one team found that the telomeres, the regions at the ends of chromosomes in Scott Kelly's white blood cells, got longer during the mission. And telomeres, or whatever, help protect chromosomes from deterioration, and they get shorter over the decades as people age. But his got longer. This could be linked to increased exercise and reduced caloric intake during the mission, said NASA officials. However, upon his return to Earth, they began to shorten again. And interestingly, telomerase activity, the enzyme that repairs the telomerase, T-E-L-O-M-E-R-E-S, telomerase, and lengthens them, increased in both twins in November, which may be related to a significant stressful family event that happened around that time. Anyhow, another research team found an apparent decrease in bone formation during the second half of his space mission, and another group identified a slight decrease in cognitive ability shortly after he touched down. However, this latter trend is not substantial enough to suggest that the performance of Mars-bound astronauts would appreciate blah, 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 blah. Then they did whole genome sequencing of Mark and Scott, revealed that both twins have hundreds of unique genetic mutations. RNA sequencing showed more than 200,000 RNA molecules that were expressed differently between the twins. And they're going to look closer to see if a space gene could have been activated while Scott was in space. A space gene.
The space gene?
Yeah, a space gene. All of these results are preliminary, and there's more information, and there's blah, 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 and another, but yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. Huh.
Well, the bone thing's probably from gravity, right?
Right, yeah.
Maybe that's all from gravity. But it's interesting about the telomeres or whatever they're called, because they are an indicator of how well we're aging. The amount of deterioration is a measurement for how well we're aging. Like you could look in the DNA to be 35, but you could actually be 65, or you could be 35 and look in the DNA to be 65, depending on other factors. That's kind of interesting. It
is. Because space made it longer, which is the healthier younger.
Right, but what you make up in that, you also lose in density of bone and formation, so we make it to Mars, but our IQ drops 20 points.
Listen, like anything else, though, the human being and any animal, really, and even any life form, has this unique ability to evolve, right? And so I would think that longer space living, I guess, or whatever, being out in space longer, might start to cause the body to evolve and do things to change. You know what I mean? Adapt, really.
Become elongated and more like a gray blob sort of thing. The head gets bigger because the brain is there's more focus on the mental rather than the physical, and your eyes get huge, your chin gets pointy, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I would expect that a human being that was out on some other planet for any period of time, and then thusly if they had babies, and then those babies were born there, that there would be some notable evolution that occurs that would cause so that they could adapt and exist in the new environment better, right? What do you think?
I think so. I think it would be interesting to, just like you could tell the difference between going from land to water, what a change gravity would make.
You know what would be cool? You know how they can do test tube babies, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how cool would it be to impregnate, like take two twin women then, you know what I mean? And impregnate both of them and send one up into space to have the baby and keep one here. Or just do test tube, no, because they still have to implant them. The woman has to give birth. Well, that we know of, although maybe they can grow babies in water tanks now, I don't know.
Matrix.
Yeah.
Like we're just big human batteries.
But it would be interesting to see any difference in the babies born if a woman endured a pregnancy out in space and a woman very similar or whatever and both the same baby, so that we're talking essentially the same or similar DNA, right?
Well, the process of the birth would be interesting too, because gravity is something that actually helps the process of the birth.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
So, would the baby ever float out?
Yeah, the baby would. I think the baby would. Does it get?
It'd be like alien. It'd come out, you know.
The baby would just explode Mummy's belly, and maybe they. I don't know if they could even do a C-section. Blah 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 blah. When they're in space, though, can they not create a gravity environment?
Well, yeah.
Right.
By a centrifuge.
Have like a gravity room. Have a gravity room in the thing somewhere. Hope that the baby doesn't go. Oops! Hey, you were supposed to catch that. Oh shit!
Like the Doritos commercial. Have you seen that one? That cracks me up. Where they're in the ultrasound and the guy's eating Doritos over the expectant mom, and he notices on the ultrasound that every time he holds a Dorito, the baby goes for it, and the mom gets really pissed. She grabs a bag of Doritos and she throws them, and then the doctor's eyes gets real big, and the baby's like. It's one of my favorite commercials.
Oh, that sounds funny. Oh my gosh. So anyway, were you still doing fairs and all that, or did you slow that down now?
I haven't. I just did the tattoo festival, tattoo expo that I do once a year, and then this month I'm going to do St. Patrick's Day, and that's it. And then next month I got a fiesta event, but I'm not doing. It's just. I've decided that my favorite readings are the ones that I can do in my nightgown on the phone.
I hear you, man.
I mean, it's a lot of work setting up and all that, and it's just, it's not my favorite way to do readings out in the public quickly. I mean, I spend some time, so.
No, I hear you. Listen, I just need magic. I need to magically be able to do readings like that, and then I could. Readings in my pajamas. I would even put clothes on, you know what I mean? Really. I put clothes on for my radio show.
I was thinking about doing like a little psychic hotline or something like that. I don't know if that would be, I mean, not because just because I'm curious about it, but I don't know if I would enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
If it would be something that, I don't know if you're busy.
Yeah.
Because I stay up a lot, a lot of times I'm up in the middle of the night, and I might as well be doing something.
Yeah, I hear you. Besides killing people in
video games. That's fun too, though.
I know. The other day I was thinking, I should go and get. Sometimes some of the best stress relieving for me was way back in the day when I had I still have it, but it's packed away, like the Nintendo 64. And I had this couple of James Bond games, you know what I mean? And so I wrapped the game, and when you wrap the game, then you can put in some cheat codes, eh?
Right.
And so that you can make yourself invisible or invincible, and so then you can just walk right up to the bad guys and
all the way.
And it's fun. And it's because I get stressed out, when I'm playing a game and when's he gonna jump out and get I get stressed out. It's as if I'm the one, and of course in the Nintendo 64 they came with the vibrating
controller
thing, so that you would feel the little vibration when your guy got hit or something like that. And so that used to be fun for me once the game was done like that. You could just blow right through every level and just go crazy, you know what I mean? And that was always good. And so anyway, and you could double arm yourself. You could get two of every gun, you know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
So that was fun too. But anyway, I haven't had that thing. And then just the other day somebody. Oh, it was the funniest joke I heard, and I can't remember it, but they referenced Zelda. And playing Zelda on that Nintendo 64. A couple of different, the Ocarina of Time or something like that.
Yes.
And the very first Zelda Like, I don't understand why anybody did that game.
Because it was so new. The concept itself was new.
But it was like two-dimensional. Nothing.
The graphics sucked.
It wasn't a character running around. It seemed to me like a I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking right, but anyway. Anyhow.
Yeah. Well, I just know the one that was Nintendo 64 Zelda, and it was a little teeny tiny Link running around, and I don't know, I just loved it. I beat it. I spent my whole Christmas vacation in nursing school. It was in nursing. I was during nursing school, and I beat it. And but of course, I PC game, so we don't get the.
That was always the best. It's like a game that was a challenging game. You know what I mean? And that was very cool. I used to like the racing games and stuff like that.
Hey, do you ever play that game, Escape a Room? Like.
No.
Yeah, well, it's like can be on your phone, or it can be a PC game, and it's where there's a room that you have to figure out where the puzzles are, then solve the puzzles, and then you go to the next level, which is Escape a Room. Now they have that in a real life scenario where you pay to go and do that.
With teams, and like that looks like the coolest thing in the whole wide world, you know?
Yeah.
And they use it for different, for some businesses, they'll take their staff and use it as team building exercises.
Oh, that's a great idea, so you can see who's the real rat is.
Yeah.
Who's going to sell you all out so they can get out of the room by themselves or whatever. Oh, yeah. The one you always suspected.
Oh, you're a bastard stealing all my office supplies.
Yeah, that's right. That would be great. That makes sense. Team building. I just thought it was cool that they took it'd be like, I mean, it's like living a video game in a way. You know, what a cool concept.
Well, it would be neat to maybe build one and run one then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Why couldn't you? Maybe, do you think that they have like a patent on it and no one else is allowed to, or maybe?
I don't know. It seems to be a traveling show, at least around here. Like it says, coming to town, escape the room. I actually have a friend that went to do it, but she didn't. She said they didn't beat the timer, and I haven't really had a chance to quiz her intensely on what it was like and how it felt and how many was in the group and all that sort of thing. But I mean, they have Clue, like the game Clue. They have those murder mysteries where you can go and eat dinner and figure out a crime. So I would think it'd be a money-making thing. People like to escape from reality.
Yeah. Or else, I wonder. Yeah, interesting. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It might be a little expensive to set one of those up, but that's interesting. It's worth thinking about anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think in a bigger city, you could sustain it if you just kept it in, you know what I mean? You had one outlet and you kept it, and it didn't have to move around. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You could still make it work, I think, and because then you could change it every now and then, right?
Seasonally change it, or whatever. And it could be a tourist thing,
Yeah, tourist
thing.
Yeah,
went to San Antonio and to go to the famous Yvette's Escape or something like that.
Then you can make for the chronic shoppers out there, hey, make a game that they had to run through the mall doing something. Get a little kiosk at a big mall, because we have West Edmonton Mall. Then you could have like a competition game. Maybe it could even be, like a promotional thing for I could pitch this to the mall itself and get a gig for myself. And
there you
go. Have a promotional contest of game kind of thing, And they have the challenges, sort of like the Amazing Race, except within the mall. And that'd be interesting. Interesting. Okay, anyway, enough about that. Okay, are you guys not calling for readings? Nobody's calling for readings, Yvette. Oh my God.
Oh, that's okay.
Nobody's calling for readings, but do you have your cards out?
I do.
Why don't you do me because it's been a long while, why don't you do me a favor and,
all right.
And, yank a card for Chris, your old buddy.
Do you have a specific area that you ask about?
Is my boyfriend going to call me?
Yes, would you give him your phone number? And answer your door.
And answer your door. Whatever happened to Iris? There was somebody called Iris in here a little while ago. Anyway, can you do a general or do you want to question?
No, general's fine. Have you been thinking about your child?
Yeah.
Because that seems to come up.
Actually, yesterday, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and money, of course, money's on your mind.
Yeah.
And there's a little something here. I don't know if you got some projects going or you're thinking about stuff or stuff stirring around in you, but you have to remember you can't plant tomatoes tonight and harvest it in the morning. That instant gratification, that need for something to happen immediately, that feeling, you just have to realize that it's going to take time and nurturing, and also you need to research where you need to plant this or plant yourself, because you don't want to be planting it you wouldn't take a handful of tomato seeds and throw them down on asphalt. You would put it in dirt, so that sort of thing. So make sure that when you're putting together whatever it is that you've got going on in your mind, that's just kind of feels like a little seed of an idea, that you do your research and that it's in the proper place, and remember that timing is everything. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I do feel like you're going to continue to balance yourself financially, but it's getting to be physically wearing on you.
Mm-hmm.
Physically wearing. Like it's gone from just a mental sort of thought to actually affecting you physically. Mm-hmm. That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. Huh?
Absolutely, positively.
That's a line from Sex and the City.
Oh, is it? I created it before Sex and the City. Jeez,
well, maybe so, yeah.
I'm always stealing my stuff, man.
She asked Mr. Big if he's ever been married, or if he's ever been in love, and he said absolutely positively or something like that.
So last night or in the wee hours or whatever, and I was busy in the kitchen and doing some things, and I was thinking, because you probably also missed that in December, out of the blue, and I got all excited at first. I thought, in HR, on that LinkedIn,
yes.
I even tried to cancel that stupid thing, and it said I deleted it, and it never deleted. And so anyway, I saw an email one day which was to say, oh, such and such asked to be your friend on LinkedIn or however connected or whatever the hell. And so anyway, usually when I would get those, I just delete them, and I have no interest. I do not go there. And so in this particular case, I went, and it was like this, and it was like an HR person for the government of Alberta. I'm all like, oh, how come they want to link to my account? That's good. I need a job with the government. That'd be great. So anyways, I go ahead and I click accept, And then I get an inbox message thing in LinkedIn, and it's like this person is going, "Oh, hi, Chris, thank you for, whatever, but, like connecting or whatever the thing is, lingo is on LinkedIn. And maybe we could get together for coffee soon. It's been a long time." And I'm like, who is this person that's talking to me like they know me?
Wow.
And there was a picture and everything, hey? And I'm all like, so I wrote back, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. It's an HR person, and now I got to write them and say, I don't have any freaking idea who the hell you are, but, who are you? So I wrote, and I said, you're going to have to refresh my memory where I know you from. And blah, 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 blah. And she writes back, and she's all like, I'm your sister-in-law. And it was because she's divorced from my brother, and so she's not using And so she wanted to touch base with me. I'm all like, that's interesting, you know what I mean? Of course I'll come and meet you. So I had a few little kerfuffles along the way, like my car it got there, I'm all looking forward to this, the day got there, and then I go to start and it's really cold outside, and my car won't start. So then I'm going to boost this thing. Every other time I've been able to charge the battery up and boost it, and off I go. Not this day. I get to look like a fool. So I had to call her and say, like, it's not happening. And so we rescheduled. So then I go when we rescheduled, so I'm on my way. And as soon as I get on my way, my engine light goes on. I'm like, you really have to be kidding me.
Jeez.
And I still don't know why the engine light went on, but I still kept going because I go like, I'm going to go meeting. So then she called and she was late and blah, blah, blah. It was funny. So anyway, so we got along pretty good. And then after that, the daughter contacted me, so my niece, right? And wanted to meet, and I had to chuckle because it's all like, hi, Auntie Chris, and I'm all like, just call me Chris, you know what I mean? I'm not used to this auntie thing, hey? I mean, I'm Auntie Chris to all my listeners, really. I'm all like, tell Auntie Chris all about it, you know? And so I went and I meet the niece, and all this kind of thing. So then I was thinking last night, and that was back in December. I think that I met the niece in January, though. It was after. So I met the mother, the sister-in-law, whatever, and in December, and then the daughter in January. And the son, we're supposed to hook up for me to meet the son, too, the nephew. And, things have just gone, there hasn't been that connection again. But we did get along okay, it seemed to me, and everything like this, but people just, and so.
So did you hear any news about any of your people?
Well, yeah, my people.
I didn't know what to call them, really. Those people?
Artists formerly known as my family.
Yes.
I did, and what was interesting is I got a chance to have this discussion with the sister-in-law, and she goes really, she goes over the years, if your name would ever come up or whatever, I would always be like, I wonder what her side is, you know what I mean? What's her side?
Right.
And apparently my dad gets a little teary-eyed whenever my name comes up. And that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Got to be his guilt working on him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so... Hang on.
Time to take your medicine?
My medicine. And one moment, please. Time for my little thimble pull, and And so, okay, so anyhow, he gets a little teary-eyed, I guess, and that's interesting to me. You know what I mean? I think it really is a little bit of guilt. He knows.
Well, yeah, of course. And, the older you get, I've found for myself personally, you start thinking about those things that you maybe didn't handle the way that you thought you should handle them,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a real, most people go through kind of a life review, at a certain age,
Well, and so apparently my mother's going to outlive all of us. My brother is not in all that great of a shape, but
people like that never die. You can sit around waiting for them to die, but they just never die.
Yeah. So the thing is this, is that the daughter-in-law, i.e. my sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law, whatever, she really got to see the ugly, nasty side of Mother Dearest. She dared to divorce her son, hey? And, the funny thing about that is that when I did go meet my brother way back in, I don't know what it was, 2005 or 2006 or whatever it was, and it was after like 16 years of estrangement. My brother told me that he asked her for a divorce because she wasn't being intimate with him anymore because he had, changed a lot. And she said no. She refused to give him a divorce, theoretically because of the kids, hey? And so they did finally divorce, and my mother has all this resentment or whatever. And it's funny because she doesn't even know why she married my brother. And
really?
Yeah, and how did it go? It went, she knew my mother through work. And so then my mother said, oh, I have this son, because she meddling mother, right? Meddling mother. And so for whatever reason, they got married, and there wasn't so what I'm saying is, like, it doesn't sound like there was ever a hot sizzle love and
relationship, yeah.
And she maybe just wanted kids or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
How old of a woman is she?
Well, she's my age.
She's your age?
Yeah,
how old is your brother, older or younger?
Yeah, he's a year older, eh?
Year older, okay.
And so, he's mid-October, and I'm December, so he's 14 months maybe older than me. And so anyhow, so then she started to see the really ugly, nasty side that my mother was, hey? And what I found out too is that they weren't very good grandparents either. They didn't seem to care much about having grandchildren. So they're not like the loving little bake cookies with the grandchildren, grandparents, or do anything like that. The little boy, she's, the daughter's 21 or something like this, and she's finishing up in university. What's she taking? Kinesthetics, or I can't remember what it is, but anyhow, the boy, he's a lot like me. And it's funny because whenever I did meet my brother way back then, the little guy was just a little wee guy, and the daughter was about 9. And the little guy, he was fascinated with me. He followed me around. Then I went outside to have a cigarette, and he's all like, I want to do that. And I'm all like, oh my God, my brother is just hates me as it is. And all I need is that, right?
Right.
And so the kid seemed a little bit more connected to me, like the boy did, than the daughter, hey? And as it turned out, temperament-wise and whatnot, the daughter turned out a lot more like my brother, scholastically, let's say, and things like this. And the boy turned out a lot like the little rebel me, you know what I mean? Right. And so he's a little wandering, lost kind of away right now. And I told like I said to the mother, hey, like to the sister-in-law, like, I saw some, he looks like he's a little bit high in some of those pictures on his Facebook page. You know what I mean? He looks a little blitzed to me, hey? And she's like, yeah, and he's a little bit of a punk gangster guy, gangster wannabe or something. You know what I mean? And of course, he didn't. My brother doesn't favor him, and I noticed that my brother was really picking on the I felt like he was really being picked on in general, which also I resonated with because, again, that was me,
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
In my person. So I still have yet to meet this guy, and I think that I might be, as we always try to search for what reasons do things happen for, and it could be that out of all of the people, maybe I would be the person that could communicate with this kid on a level, you know what I mean, that, might work and that kind of thing. So, maybe I can get to him before he does time.
Well, that's why I keep trying to send Bella to you, but whatever. Before she does time, man.
Yeah. So, anyway, there is a caller, and I thought I saw somebody else say that. Oh, that's good. That's Sandy. So, do you want to take a call from Sandy then, or do you want a song break first, or what do you want?
Oh, whatever you want to do. I'm good.
Okay, well, we'll take Sandy's call. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Chris.
How you doing?
Hi, Yvette.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Can I get a general?
Sure.
Great.
Let's see what's going on here. Wow. You've been changing your life?
Really?
Looks like a complete and total transformation. Like, I'm not sure that this is like completely recently. Like, it feels like over the last year and a half. You're not even the same person, it doesn't feel like to me.
Wow.
And you have some ideas. And are you angry?
Yeah.
Okay. There's some anger there. But from this anger, there is this potential to change your world.
Okay.
So don't be so hard on yourself about being angry because, people seem to think it's a negative emotion, and it can be negative. It can be very destructive to others, and it can be destructive to yourself. But it can also be used as an agent of change for yourself. And within that anger, burn something, is what I'm hearing. Burn something that you can take and use to make sense of the transformation. Make sense of what you're going through right now. It has to be out of a gesture for self-love, though. It has to be for you. And it has to be completely about you, which I don't think things have been for a really long time.
Yes.
So this has to be something that you do for you completely.
Can they give me an idea of what that would be?
Not really. I mean, I'm not getting like a definitive, but I know I'm getting the message that it comes from your anger. So whatever it is that you're angry about or that you're having trouble with, within that anger is the answer to that question you just asked, what it's about.
Okay.
The idea comes from there. The spark comes from there. So if it's like something's just you're just done with, or that you're just, but it's about self-love too, and it's about taking this, claiming this, staking your claim on this for yourself. And then it has to be about action. You also you have to channel that anger into action as opposed to just being angry about it, because that's when it becomes bad for your health.
Oh, okay.
When you don't act on it. So, but no, I don't get the exact, like what direction it is or even what area it is. It's almost personal.
Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like if I was supposed to know, I would,
Oh, Okay.
But it's within that anger that you have.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Well,
other?
I feel like I've haven't been able to live my own life for a long time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of feel like I'm trapped and wasn't in the plan. This I wanted, but
well, I guess from that, just when you're talking, that's feeling of being trapped, and that it's time to take action on that. It's time to fix that. It's time to do what you need to do for you. It causes a major life transformation. It's come out of this change.
Right.
I mean, were you just going along and it was okay, and then suddenly it got too tight, or it got too constrictive, or it got oppressive,
Exactly.
And now, it has to be that you break free from that, and that requires action, and it requires self-love. It's a huge gesture of self-love to do this.
Well, part of what I think I've thought that would help I don't know how to explain it. Everybody's heard this before, but part of that, I think because as a kid I was happy growing up, and I was happy in the town I grew up in, that I've always wanted to move back there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really not a lot there, but for some reason I'm always drawn back there. I always feel like that's not a good idea. So I've come up with the idea of maybe just having a small vacation home there. But it's very costly. And I'm wondering if they can give you any insight into that idea, if that would be for my highest good or not.
So you feel drawn back to where you grew up, and you want to go back there, but you don't want to go back there fully?
I can't, because I have a son that's in high school, and I'm not taking him out.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so you can't right at the moment.
No, and I haven't been able to all this time because of him in high school. So I'm very resentful of that.
Yeah. Well,
my husband died 6 years ago, and then ever since he's died, I've wanted to move back. But I couldn't upset my son's life and take him out of normalcy he had. I've just kind of stuck. And I like where I am. It's not that I don't like it. But I don't know. I just feel drawn back there for some reason. And I don't know if that's just because I liked it when I was there growing up, and so I'm looking for a happy place, or if that would just be, I'd go back and I'd be like, oh my God, what did I do?
It's funny because in anybody's spiritual journey, it seems like we all get to this point where we think that it's not okay for some reason for us to do things that make us feel good, But it really is. And we think that we're supposed to just push through something sometimes, And I feel like, there's a reason when the message is really just very simple. The universe is saying to you, for some reason, you're supposed to go back. For some reason, you're being drawn back there. And rather than just taking it in its simplicity, we try to make it complicated, I think you should go back there at the first chance you get, if that's the way you're feeling. I mean, it's a little bit like roller skating. If you're stuck on the wall and you look out there in the middle and all these people are twirling around, there's a chance you may fail and there's a chance you may get hurt, but gosh, there's such freedom out there in the middle, as opposed to being on the wall. So why not take that chance? I understand you not wanting to uproot your son's life, and but he's almost done now?
Yeah, but then he'll go on to school after that, too. So
Well, yeah.
I don't,
I mean, if all you can do, all that you can see your way clear to do is to get a vacation home there, then I think you should do that. But if there's any way that you can get back and make yourself happy, seems to me like that's where they're pointing you. That's where they're, it's almost a neon sign.
Yeah, I kind of plan that once I know what his future is going to be. Then once I get him independent and on his own, yes, then I probably will do that.
Yeah.
But that could be years yet. And
Well,
I've thought of this vacation thing for many years. I've just never acted on it because it's very expensive, and it's a lot of responsibility to own 2 homes and the upkeep.
absolutely. But what if it makes you happy?
Well, I don't know that. That's the thing. I don't know that it will or not.
What if it makes you happy?
That's why I'm hoping they can. What?
I said, what if it makes you happy? You don't know that it will, but you don't know that it won't.
Right. That's why I'm kind of hoping maybe the people on the other side can kind of give me a direction.
Yeah. Well, I think they are.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why you feel the urge. That's why you feel the need. I mean, there might be something there. I mean, there may be a miracle there for you, There may be something there that's exactly. Is it close to the water?
There's water all around, yes.
Yeah. Because it's almost like a calling to your soul. It feels like to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that strong of a urge or a need or a desire, to get back to my roots, to get back to the feeling,
right.
To recreate that feeling. And you've spent lots and lots of time trying to recreate it where you're at, and it's not happening. And so
true. That's true.
So you need to follow that call. I mean, I don't see that you have any other choice if you want peace.
Yeah, I'm thinking what I would do, is get the vacation, whatever you want to call it, just a tiny house in town, for a couple years, and then once things are settled, I would sell my permanent home and sell the tiny home in the vacation area and just, move there, get a real home.
Right.
What I mean?
Is it a vacation place? Is it a destination place? Is it a place that has a lot of tourists? Then you could keep the tiny home and rent it out as a bed and breakfast or something. Or a B&B, whatever, the Airbnb or whatever that thing's called.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. So then you have investment there.
Yeah, they have a rental management company there. I've looked into doing short-term rentals with it when I'm not staying there. But then you've got people staying in your home, and it's kind of like I'm sleeping in my bed, But
yeah, that's kind of icky. But it would be financially, it would help, and it would make what needs to happen for you right now until you can make it more permanent. So, sounds sensible. Sounds like it's well thought out.
Well, it does until you actually look at the dollars, and then it's like, okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because then costly, but it's like.
Are you open to a new relationship?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, just because that's connected somehow to that.
To the vacation home, you mean?
Listening to what the universe and what your soul is saying to you is connected to you finding someone who has your back.
What that means.
What'd you say?
I'm not quite sure what that means.
I don't either. That was the message.
Oh.
I was just giving you the message.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'll have to re-listen to that.
Yeah. So this opening yourself to a new relationship, if you're ready, is directly connected to you performing this act of self-love. That sounds so funny. By listening to the calling of your soul and what it's saying, that you need to get back to your roots, that you need to get back to that feeling of feeling good. It's all very much connected.
I'm just hoping that I'm going to feel good when I'm there, and not feel like, okay, this is boring. Why did I do this?
Well, I mean,
well, give it a fair.
What?
You know, go there. I think that what the message is I'm getting feedback. I think what the message is saying is like, follow your gut feeling for the right reasons, but don't go there like hyper focused on, hey, when's it happening? Here I am now. You know what I mean? Just go and go about your damn, seriously, right? So I've been here 5 minutes. Come on. Just what I mean. Why isn't this happening? I have a camera here now, and so anyway, you know
funny.
what I mean, right?
Yeah. Let the party start.
Here I am. Okay.
Yep.
And then like two weeks later, going, I knew this wouldn't work out. I knew it. I don't think I came here. Why did I even do this?
Well, that's Chris. That's what my family will be like. They'll be like, "Why did you do this?" You know, even though they want me to move there, but.
Right. Well, and that's why I think it's such a beautiful idea to have the vacation spot, and you can go and spend a little bit, because I had two thoughts that went through my mind when you brought this up again about the concept of going back to this place, but not as a permanent thing, but as a vacation thing. And I had two thoughts in my mind. The first of which was there's something pulling you back there, and maybe there's somebody there for you. The second thought that I had was, as long as it's not, because the lead-in or the preamble that you gave to all of that was to say that you remembered being happy there. And you know what I mean? And so then you're connecting. And then sometimes what happens, though, is that people, they go back and it's something way bad, different, not good at all. But in other words, things change, right?
Well, and that's exactly my point, is that am I thinking I want to move back there because that's where I was happy and you can't go back?
But you can go back, but you can't go back and expect everything to be as it was.
No.
And we all have a little bit of responsibility in making our own happiness, right?
Right.
And also in not so rigidly defining it, so that if A, B, and C happens, then I'm happy. And then we close our eyes to any other thing, that might come along. So sometimes we don't know we like something till we try it, right?
Right.
And
right.
So, if we don't go outside of the box and try it, then we're missing it. And so again, as long as you went back with, I like the way that Yvette talks about doing her readings is remain detached from the outcome and all that. Now, it's your life, and you can't exactly be detached from the outcome. But what I'm trying to say in that is to say, don't write the ending. Let the ending write itself. Let the story write itself by living it.
Oh, okay.
And in other words, don't go there with heavy expectations of what it is going to be, because it could be something really awesome, but if you're strictly defining it, you won't find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also have to trust the universe. The universe is not going to ask you to do this just because it's some great cosmic joke. And they're going to, ask you to follow the calling that you have in your soul to move you back home and then just to laugh at you because you're miserable. It's not about that at all. It's about, that's not the reason this is, you're feeling this calling.
I don't know if it's the universe calling or just my brain doing it, But that's always felt like home to me. And I go back a couple times a year and I stay with my parents. And I don't want to stay with my parents. And I would go back more if I had a place to stay.
Yep.
And then I would feel freer to do whatever I wanted to do when I was there. I don't know.
Don't let your head suck your heart out of what it knows. Don't try to rationalize or analyze your way out of the feeling that you're having.
Yeah, but I have to when it's going to take a chunk of my money that I may need in the future.
Go with the flow, baby. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. You're fighting the river. Go with the flow.
Path of least resistance.
Because again, that's another way of you finding yourself then. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so you gotta, at least do it, try it, listen. So you go buy some place and blah, blah, blah. So sell the damn place. People buy and sell places. It's not like you can't.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe you'll make some money out of the deal.
I know.
And that's why I was there. You know what I mean? It wasn't for nothing. And so, just go, you gotta, again, unless you, no risk, no reward, hey? No risk, no reward.
And I feel like I could make it into kind of a nice place and turn around and sell it, if I had to. And, the price is low enough. I'm not looking for a mansion. It's just this little $60,000 house that, I can turn around and sell in a few years.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm paying the property taxes and the utilities and the upkeep and the, putting in improvements and things like that too.
I think soon though soon your boy is going to be a man, and even if he's got, he's a little bit he's got to also feel himself. He's got to find out who he is as an adult. But if he needs to if he goes, I'm channeling somebody here that's like so if he goes to university or college or trade school or whatever he's going to do, usually kids don't want to be into mama's apron strings at that time, Now sometimes
usually, but I don't have a usual child either.
You don't, but are you also? Is he living up to your expectation of him? You know what I mean?
Probably.
What I'm saying is, if you're expecting your
right?
Is he living up to your idea of who he is, or is he free to feel out who he is? And I think that there comes a time, and I don't know when his time is going to be, but he's going to have a time.
Yeah.
He would be like, Mom, you're calm. Maybe wouldn't it be hilarious? And doesn't this happen in relationships frequently where one person's all sacrificing this because for that person and that person and they're all like, this person doesn't want that you're sacrificing this
for.
I know. But nobody's communicating.
Yeah.
And what if he's staying so close to the nest because he doesn't want Mom to be alone, and he knows Mom.
No, that's not it. Yeah, no. Well, thank you guys. You gave me a lot of good ideas. I appreciate that.
Start charging him rent after he's finished high school. That'll get rid of him.
No kidding.
If I'm paying rent, I'm not having a mother to have rules. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Any other words of wisdom, Yvette?
Follow your heart.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Yvette.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. And let me just get over in there. Okay. So, now is anyone else calling for a reading? And in the meanwhile, I'm going to play a song. Okay, Yvette?
Okay.
Bugging the hell out of me. And so, Popeye, are you getting a reading? Or what are you doing there, mister? Unmute your damn self, because we always play. Hello, Popeye.
Hello, Chris. How you doing tonight?
Good. What's going on?
Well, I figured that if nobody else is in queue, I'd call in and ask for a reading. And things are kind of swimming along fine, one day melding into another. But I figured I would just take a chance to, so to speak, check my messages and see if the universe had anything that I needed to know.
All right. Well, I see you have a choice to make. It's a choice, two choices, or two ways to go with something. And you're a little bit like Scarlett O'Hara about it. You'll think about it tomorrow. You've put it in the back of your mind. But like the old Rush song says, not making a choice is a choice itself. There is an element of sacrifice in your life. You tend to put others' needs ahead of your own. It's a beautiful characteristic. It makes you the person that you are. But it can also be excessive. So you may have to occasionally choose yourself. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that does.
Okay. You are a man of great sensitivity. You may not necessarily expose yourself to the world like that. You know, you may not put that face forward, but you do feel things very deeply. And sometimes it makes the world a bit of a harsh place to be. There are some men too gentle to live among wolves. It's a poem. And that's what I kind of hear when I look at your energy. You're fairly methodical about how you do things. You know, things, you kind of put one foot in front of the other. That's how, and you put your head down and you push through to your goals. That's a good characteristic because in this world nowadays, when things start getting hard, people tend to give up. But you don't. You continue. So that's what I see.
Okay. Well, I'd say that's all just right on the money.
Yeah.
And, that decision I'm about 80-20 on.
Yeah. It feels fairly equal as far as, like, there's not a neon sign flashing towards one particular direction, you know, like, it feels like that either one that you choose will be okay, but you have to choose. You have to eventually choose. Or the choice will be made for you. And if you like to be in control, which I think you do, then it would be, yeah, then it would be better if you actually participated in the decision rather than allowing it to be made for you. And not making a choice is a choice. So, you know, with that comes consequences. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
That tells me to get off my ass and act.
Yeah.
I was waiting actually to react. I wanted to see what was going to happen, and then my reaction was already 80% decided either way.
Right.
But what I'm hearing from you is I need to be proactive rather than reactive.
I think you'll be more comfortable that way. because it's going to happen one way or the other. And it would be, it would feel better to you if you actually had some feeling of control by making the decision, by acting rather than, allowing yourself to be acted upon.
Yes. Now, I see on your little banner here that one of your tools that you like to use is the tarot.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, since we seem to have time, that the 3 tarot cards that play most in my life are the Empress, the Hanged Man, and the World.
Nice. Well, I got the Hangman for you. That's one of the cards that I did lay down for you.
I'm not surprised.
The Empress is a nice card because it's all about being pregnant with possibility. I mean, it can actually mean literal pregnancy too, but it means it's about being pregnant with possibility. But the funny thing is, in the journey of the tarot that starts with the Fool, is that if you don't ever go beyond being pregnant, then nothing ever happens. There has to be a birth. There has to be a birth. And there has to be nurturing to get to the world, which is the ultimate peak, before the journey begins again.
Right, yeah. Well, the way that the old, very experienced reader explained it to me when she laid those 3 cards in front of me, is she told me that the Empress is the essence of me.
Mm-hmm.
That the world is how I show that to society. And that the Hanged Man represents the inherent wisdom I was born with.
Cool.
And of the 3, I think I most identify with the Hanged Man.
Mm-hmm. That's where the element of sacrifice in your life comes in, your ability to set your own needs aside. It's like Star Trek, the goods of the many outweigh the goods of the few.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the guiding principle of your life. But it's okay once in a while to claim your own needs. It's okay. Because ultimately, what's best for you ends up rippling out in a ripple effect to being what's best for other people around you.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that old thing they kept trying to drill into our heads during school that none of us really listened to and took to heart the way we should have. When I was in nursing school, that they said, you can't help anybody else unless you're all right first.
That's right. And I'm sure if you're a nurse, then you've seen many examples of that.
Yes, I have. And like many others, I can claim that I have promptly ignored that good advice.
Yep.
On many occasions.
Yep. That's why you go, 12 hours without peeing and stuff like that.
Yeah. They told us one of the requirements for that job is to have a 5-quart bladder.
I used to write it on my brain, like I would schedule medicines, for my patients. I would schedule that.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to do it. Thankfully, I've retired from nursing now. Although I probably will have to go back to work before I draw Social Security, I'm not going to work in nursing anymore unless things get really desperate.
Yep. I've done the same thing. I will no longer work as a nurse. I actually let my license go. It was kind of just in the last, I think it was a couple years ago. It was a weird feeling.
I'm maintaining my license just in case, but
yeah.
I've had to, one too many times, I've had to turn to family members and say, I'm sorry, she's gone.
Yep.
And I just, it's, each time it got harder until the point that I'd rather go to work at 7-Eleven or Casey's or name your convenience store chain.
Yeah.
Stock shelves in a grocery store. Something where I can go to work and I know by the time that I go home at the end of my 8-hour shift that everybody's going to be alive who was alive when I got there.
Yeah. I know. I know what you mean. It took me a couple years though once I made the decision not to go back to figure out who I was if I was not a nurse, because a large portion of my identity was tied up in being a nurse.
Yes, I too am experiencing that challenge. But I have taken off. I'm coming up on a year now that I have taken off, and I just sat at home and not worked at all. Just putter around the house and play with the things I want to play with. And, pretty much me is the most important thing in my life and the highest priority in my life at the moment. And it feels good.
Oh, yes, you're fully cooperating. That's what you needed to do. That's what you need to do. That's amazing that you've listened and done that. Because a lot of people lose part of themselves in that job,
Yeah. They contacted me from my old job a couple of months ago and asked me if I would be willing to come back on a part-time basis. And I just said no.
Yeah.
So not only am I not ready to go back to nursing, but one of my personal rules has always been that once things get to a point where I feel that I have to leave a job, going back is not an option because it's not going to turn out well.
No.
It's like going back to an old lover or reading a book that you've already read before. You know how it's going to end.
Yeah. That's a good philosophy. I had a job. I wasn't in nursing at the time when the Oklahoma City bombing happened. And I had a job that I cried every morning before I went to work. I literally cried in the shower before I went to work. And what I took from the Oklahoma City bombing, the tragedy of it, was I wondered to myself, I wonder if any of those people cried before they went into work and would they say it was worth it now? I decided right then and there I would never be in a job that made me cry again. And I'm not saying that I haven't worked jobs that made me cry, but as soon as I realized that it was unhealthy, I was out of there.
Yeah, I agree. Any job where more days than not you have to cry about having to go to work, time to make a change.
Yep. And that's a scary concept when people are worried about money and
yeah, a change
living.
Is scary in and of itself, but when you're making a big change, like a career change, that's way scary.
Yeah, it's really scary. But it has to be done. You have to choose self-love. You have to choose your own sanity or your own, your own physical health over money. You have to prioritize it. And it really makes you get real about what's important,
Yep.
I mean, I want my kid to eat every day. I don't ever want her to want for anything, but I also cannot, it's if I'm not here physically, then she's going to have trouble eating anyway. So I would rather, like you say, work at the convenience store or anything to do anything better than what I was doing before,
Right. Yeah. It makes me think of the Seven of Cups.
Yep.
Yeah. Where, your choice is, your best choice is to choose to first fill the cup of self-love.
That's right.
And I guess that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
That's my career situation. I'm filling my own cup by not working as a nurse.
And people think you're crazy too, I'm sure.
Well, they wouldn't be the first or the last.
Or why would you do that if you could be a nurse? Why would you, well, because I can't be a nurse.
Yeah, you know what? Why would you work in a convenience store for $8.50 an hour when you could work as a nurse for $20?
Yeah.
Well, I guess when those people walk in the same path and fill the same shoes, then they'll understand. But I don't have to have everyone's understanding. I do have to be okay with me.
Yep, that's the only understanding you need is your own. The only approval you need is your own approval.
It goes sometimes it's kind of nice to have others approve of you too.
Well, yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, hey, Yvette, thank you for having a conversation with me tonight. Appreciate you being here on the show.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Chris, I appreciate you putting on the show, as I've said before, and I'll say again. And everybody who hangs out in the chat room, I appreciate counting you all among my friends.
Aww.
And for all of those of you who I've mentioned who are both here tonight and not here tonight, I wish blessings upon you all.
All right. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Hey, kids. I don't see any more callers, Yvette.
Okay.
Tell people where they can find you.
They can find me on Facebook. Just message me. Or my website, you have listed YvetteHowell.intuitalks.com.
Awesome. I can't wait till next time. It's been awesome catching up with you.
I know. We'll have to have a late night session some night.
I know, right? Yeah, hit me up anytime. I keep saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to turn my Skype on. I keep it turned off because it makes my game lag.
Priorities. I get it.
Yeah.
Come after. Okay, kids, we're out of here. Back with Dr. Ida tomorrow. Thanks again, Yvette. Thanks everybody for coming on.
Peace.
3, 2, 1. Peace out, kids.